Hi guys, I'm Marlene and welcome to my home and garden channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over how I care for my spring flowers, just giving you a few tips here and there, and I hope you'll enjoy them as much as I do. These right here are my daffodils, and they are usually the first ones that come out. Usually anywhere from early January through to March, they'll be there, and they last for a few weeks. The main thing is that when you're planting them, make sure that you plant them in well-drained, rich soil. And that pretty much takes care of most of it. As far as maintaining them goes, they do multiply over time, and that's the beauty with this type of plant. You put a few in, and then over the years, they just get more and more, and they're more beautiful for you. And there are many different types of daffodils. I actually have two of them in my garden. This lighter colored one, and the darker colored one here. The main thing to bear in mind is that when they're getting older, you have to allow the leaves to get a little yellow before you trim them back, because that is what basically has them fed when they're green. And then when the leaves get yellow, then that means it's time for them to go. What you can also do too, you don't have to, but you can actually get a sharp pair of pruners and just trim back the bulbs when they're spent. And that actually helps the plant to have more energy to produce more for the following season. And they're very beautiful, as you can see. They really help to brighten up your garden. And if they come out a little bit early, sometimes it might be a little cold, but they're actually able to handle it pretty well. Once it warms up a little bit, then they pop up back and they're there to serve you. Next we have this right here. It's a beautiful ground cover, and it's called Creeping Phlox. In some places it's also known as Thrift. There are some that are pink colored like the ones I have here, and there's some of them that are a little bit more purple, but they make an excellent ground cover. They're not very invasive, and they're pretty inexpensive. And I'll put a link below too where you can get that. This is another ground cover that I have here. It's called Dianthus. This is actually Pixie Dianthus. And they're actually so striking that it almost looks like they're glowing there, as you can see. I do have a few wild strawberries in there, so I'll need to get those out. But other than that, they're pretty much self-sustaining. Just keep them in a cool area, maybe partially shaded, and you can have them for maybe up to 9 months. And they're not very invasive. This one right here, though, Ajuga, this one is very invasive. So if you don't want it spreading all over your yard, you may not want to use this one. And here we have the Tulip Tree, or the Star Magnolia, or Saucer Magnolia. And this is one of the first blooming shrubs that comes out in the spring. Very, very beautiful. The petals are very large, as you can see. And some of them, you may find them in a slightly darker pink color, but either way, they are very striking. And it doesn't take a lot to cure for these. The main thing is just to make sure that you're not putting too many things around the roots of them. They don't like that. And also make sure that you put some mulch down, like you see I'm showing at the roots there, to help to keep them warm during the winter and to keep them from drying out in the summertime. And here we have the iris. This one is actually bearded iris, and I have the lavender version here. And these are pretty self-sustaining. Just make sure that you check so that they don't have any pests on them. Sometimes that can happen, so you may have to spray them with insecticidal soap and then just wash them off with your hose, and that typically works well. And for these, you can also go ahead and get your pruners and just trim off, the spent blooms, because that helps to avoid weevils, because they can get weevils sometimes. It just depends on what's happening in your area. But they are very beautiful, and you can cut them, put them in vases inside, and they're very striking. Right here we have some Easter lilies. These usually come out after Easter. They're usually maybe like late April or early May. But either way, I really enjoy them. They're pretty easy to care for. And if you actually get sometimes like a gift during Easter, you could just plant them, which is what we did here. And then over the years, they'll multiply and be beautiful for you. And guys, if you're getting any value from this, I definitely hope that you will hit the subscribe button if you've never done so before, so you can see more of my floral topics. And right here is my Clematis. This one is by my mailbox. And this one, you just need to trim it all the way down in the fall. And in every spring it comes back up and it runs all over, and you can just put it on a trellis. Now, what would a spring garden be without birds? These are some beautiful doves that come by from time to time. I leave out bird seeds for them. And they're actually mates for life, so that's a very interesting fact about them. And I just like sitting and watching them as they go through. So I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I hope it puts you in that springtime mood. If you have any questions on any other topics, please feel free to leave them below. I'll be more than happy to answer them in any way that I can. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful spring and enjoy the rest of your day.